The Meeples and Miniatures podcast is sponsored by Two Fat Lardies and Miniature Wargames with Battle Games magazine, and also by the generous donations of you, the listeners. The Meeples and Miniatures podcast, episode 147, UK Games Expo 2015, with host Neil Shook and a host of guests. This show was recorded on May the 30th, 2015. Hello, I'm Neil Shook, and welcome to another episode of the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. This show is another interview show recorded at the recent UK Games Expo. Managed to grab hold of multiple guys during the day and chatted about all sorts of different bits and pieces, primarily miniatures manufacturers. A different selection of people to what I ran into at Salute, well, primarily anyway, with a few added surprises. So hopefully some things of interest, managing to catch up with some old friends and people we've talked to previously on the show, getting some latest news updates and stuff. So hope you find the show interesting. Here we are, it's UK Games Expo.
I must get through to Sergeant Watson's position. Jenkins, cover me.
Sir.
Whoa. Sergeant Watson, bring your men in. Withdraw.
It's all right, sir. We're enjoying ourselves.
What?
Yes, sir. It's these here chain of command rules, sir. We're having great fun.
Chain of command?
That's right, sir. It's a challenging but fun blend of command and control. It gives me the freedom I want to fight the way I want to. Never had so much fun, sir.
And we've cooked you some sausages.
Can't be helped, sir. Me and the lads are staying put.
Chain of command, World War II, platoon level rules from Two Fat Lardies. They really put you in control. And they're even better than sausages.
Well, I managed to catch up with gaming buddy John Bennett. Hello, John.
Hello, Neil.
You're here with the biggest game of memoir I've ever seen.
Yeah, we're doing the full D-Day landings today. 12 players.
12 players. Okay, can you explain a bit about it? Because I mean, it's obviously, it looks to be an official expansion. Can you explain a bit about it?
Yeah, last year, Days of Wonder brought out D-Day landings. It's a 6-map set with the full set of D-Day beaches. So it's got, it's got the Cherbourg Peninsula at one end, and then it's got like Sword Beach at the other end.
Oh right, so although I suppose the 6 maps can be played separately, it can also be put together and played as a mega game.
Yeah, and it takes up a huge amount of space, which is why we're doing it at the expo, because we've got space, and we just set it up today, to see what it looks like, but also we're just letting people drop in and out, sort of hot seating, to try and keep the game rolling, and to see if we can get it completed today.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at what? Is this a 24-foot table?
It's 5 metres, so whatever that is.
Right, okay.
In all money.
Okay, so 5 metres, six sheets. Okay, so How many figures, like how many base sets and memoir and stuff are we looking at here?
To get everything on the board, we needed 7 base sets.
Yeah.
And several expansions, like about another 7 or 8 expansions to get all the figures and characters that we needed.
Wow, that's a heck of a lot of memoir 44, mate.
It is, yeah, it is. It's a lot.
Okay, so have you actually tested this at all before?
Yeah. So Wednesday night this week was the first time we tried it. We played 6 players on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
We played the Commonwealth beaches, so the eastern half of the three maps, or 3 eastern maps. And we were working out the rules over and above what the standard set of rules are, because there's a lot of extra rules in this expansion. And I'm glad we did that, because otherwise I think we'd be struggling today.
Yeah, but I noticed you've got a whole load of different, you've got different artillery pieces now, extra tanks and various other bits and pieces. Do you think it's almost worth just like getting a World War II war game?
This is memoir. This is a very popular game, and I think if we set up any sort of war game and with 12 people to sort of sit down, I don't know if we'd get 12 people simultaneously playing. Yeah. Because it's a popular format, everybody likes it. We can easily attract people to come and play, and one of the reasons for doing this is that just to let people have a go. Some people come along and they haven't ever played it before, but we can explain the rules and help them. And some people come along who are experts at the game and they just sit down and just play it.
Cool. Well, I hope it goes well today, mate.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy yourself, and I hope you get it finished.
Yeah, we should. It took us 2.5 hours on Wednesday night to play a game, so I think we should get maybe 2 complete games in.
Yeah.
And then we're here Saturday and Sunday, so we'll hopefully get 3 or 4 games finished over the weekend.
Great, fantastic.
Okay.
Well, thanks for speaking, John.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Neil.
Yeah, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bump into Tony Boydell from Surprise there. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Hello, Neil. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. Well, it's good to see you here again. Can you tell me what's going on at Surprise Day Games at the moment?
Well, we have a couple of things going on this year at the Expo. We've got a little promo pack for Snowdonia. Yeah. 6 cards, a little bit of fun. I like to design bits and pieces on my blog and I post them up there, but then occasionally I think, well, let's just print them. Yeah. So print on demand is a wonderful thing. So we've managed to print on demand a few packs of these cards. So that's great. That's going really well. Mm-hmm. I'm demoing the final art version of Guilds of London, which is my new Euro game.
Okay.
That's coming out at Essen. Yeah. We'll be doing the English language version, but there'll also be French and German versions as well.
Okay.
That's very exciting. So somebody else is leading the production of that. I'm just getting really involved in doing all the art and the final bits and pieces. So that's really exciting.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about that?
What, Guilds of London? Yeah. Well, it's my elevator pitch is El Grande meets Blue Moon City.
Oh, right.
So there's an area control element. You're trying to win guilds, and guilds give you victory points, but they also give you little free actions effectively within the game.
Yeah.
Winning guilds is by moving your liveryman cubes around the place and getting the most in a particular guild, and that allows you to win the guild. And you use card play to move them around.
Yeah.
But the cards, there's a large deck of 105 cards in 5 suits, and they allow you to do various combinations. So TCGers will love it because they'll spot all those combinations and have some wonderful turns. And it looks beautiful. The artwork's done by Clemens Franz, who does all the artwork for pretty much everybody now because he's so brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's always a pleasure working with him. So yeah, that's really exciting. And the other thing is Mission Command, which is Alan Paul's long-standing nurtured project, a war game. Now, I'm not a war gamer, so a lot of this looks very pretty to me, but I haven't the faintest clue what's going on. Right. But this is your element, so
very much so,
perhaps at this point I ought to hand over to Alan, and he can tell you all about it.
That sounds like a tremendously good idea. Thanks for talking to us, Tony.
It's a pleasure, Neil.
Okay, cheers. after a fantastic link from Tony, I'm now talking to Alan from Surprise there. Hello, Alan. Good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, we're looking here at a war game, which for a board game company is a bit of a departure, isn't it?
It is a little bit of a departure, but I'm a war gamer. I've been a war gamer for some while. I just haven't actually got around to producing any actual games of it yet. I've been mainly focusing on Eurogames.
Yeah.
But this has been a sideline since about 2007 because I found a really good war games group down in Frome in Somerset, and some of them are ex-military and MOD people. So we were looking around for a World War II rule set that we could all play and be satisfied with, and we didn't find anything we really liked. So, well, after about 2 or 3 years of doing that, we decided, well, why don't we write our own rules?
Yeah.
And now we're thinking, well, that was a hell of a freaking lot of work. So that was one of the reasons not to do it. But we decided to do it anyway. And we've now reached a stage with Mission Command where we have an alpha set of rules. Right. And by that I mean it's ready for playing by a wider public than just our little gaming group.
Right, because I remember seeing something a little bit like this a couple of years ago. You had a very small game on at the Expo a couple of years ago, didn't you?
That's right.
But it didn't even. I don't think it even had a name then.
No, we've been trying to work out how to market this because we're basically a board and card game company. We're not really in that kind of war game marketing area, so we're really feeling our way at the moment. And one of the things we're looking at with Mission Command is whether we can get a tie-in with another company, a miniatures company, or another company that does this kind of product. Failing that, we can quite happily do it ourselves. But we have now a new imprint called SSG War Games. We have we have our logo, which you can't see it on this recording. We have a logo for SSG War Games, where Reg, our little guy, has got an army uniform on, just to show that we are doing war games. But Mission Command is it's more of a simulation game.
Yeah.
And its purpose is to kind of show the differences between commanding, for example, a British armoured division compared to a German armoured division.
Right.
So we're looking very much at the command control communications aspects.
Right. Okay. And what sort of level is this played at?
Yeah. This is roughly brigade level. So our smallest unit that you can give orders to is a company.
Right. Okay.
And a division is quite a reasonably large game. We have played larger, but a division is quite a large game. It's primarily umpire-moderated game.
Right.
So the umpire's role is really to keep the game flowing and to save the players from having to look up all the detail. We've had lots of cases of players completely new to the game coming along to a day's wargaming, and within an hour or so they've completely at home and can play the game.
Oh, okay.
So that works really, really well. I was quite surprised myself that how easy it is for them to pick it up, which is great from our point of view.
Now, looking at scale here, we're looking at, it looks like you're using, it's 15mm, looks like basing-wise is Flames of War style basing?
Yes, that's right. You can quite happily use Flames of War figures on this. You can use 15mm, you can use 6mm. It's really the frontages of the elements that count.
Okay, so what sort of element size are we looking at then?
We're looking at, a company is roughly 5 or 6 elements. And a large infantry element is roughly 50 millimetres. So the ground scale is 1 millimetre to 2 metres. So,
right.
On our table here, which is not a huge table, we've got an area of 3 kilometres by 2 kilometres.
Okay.
So you can play that kind of game quite happily in a fairly long evening. We can play... This scales very well. So we've played games where we have an umpire and 1 player.
Yeah.
Right up to 8 to 10 players aside with 2 or 3 umpires.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
it scales really, really well for that.
Yeah.
But of course, for the larger games, you need a huge area.
And all day.
And all day. Or preferably all weekend. We have
yeah.
played actually 30 kilometre by 25 kilometre areas of game for a breakthrough game.
All right.
It's really fantastic, but you do need to get, a dozen to 15 people in the same place at the same time. That works really well if you can do it, but it's a comparatively rare event. But you can play a day game quite happily with 3 players aside and an umpire, or you can play an evening game with 2 to 4 people.
Yeah.
So it scales well.
Right. So you say the rules are effectively in alpha at the moment?
Yes, that's right. We have a reference manual. Don't read it, it's just for reference really.
Yeah.
An umpire's manual which tells the umpires how to do the role of umpiring really. A player's manual for Normandy, who's starting with the Normandy campaign. And the player's manual is what most people will use because it tells you how the Germans fight, how the British fight, and it gives you some samples of orders of battle for various units.
So all the lights have just dimmed.
I wonder what that means. Yes. The game is an I go, you go game. So it's a very traditional war game. And basically you activate a group of British, for example. You move all those elements, then you move on to another group of British and move all those elements until you've done all the British, and then you just swap sides. So it's very straightforward in that sense.
Okay, and combat is dice driven?
Combat is D20 driven.
Oh, right, okay.
D20s because it's easier to think about 1 in 20 being 5% than 1/6. Much easier. So we standardised on D20s. But the basic combat system is generally, for example, with tank combat, you'll roll to hit and then you'll roll to see if you kill the target.
Yeah.
So it's very straightforward. But the figure scale is a vehicle is roughly 3 to 5 vehicles. An infantry miniature is roughly 10 people.
Right.
So a company is about 5 to 6 elements. A squadron of tanks is 3 or 4.
Right.
So it's a manageable scale for the company to division type games that we run.
Right. Now, you say obviously this has been a labour of love over several years. When are we likely to see? You're looking at a retail, or is that one of those? We're looking at a piece of string here a little bit.
It's a little bit like that, but the current plan, and as you know, the plans never survive contact with the enemy. The plan is that we have the beta version kind of at the end of this year, with the idea that we'll publish the full version end of 2016, perhaps early 2017. But this will depend on whether we get a tie-up with another company. If we do it ourselves, we can probably stick to that early 2017 kind of publication timescale. But you know, it does depend on events, of course, and that's always a bit tricky. But that's our current plan. But at the moment, the alpha version, we're really looking at getting comments from a wide group of players to see what the reaction is in the market, really, see what people think of it. And obviously to tweak things if we get adverse comments. That's the idea.
Brilliant. Well, all the best with it, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for talking.
Thanks.
And hopefully catch up with you soon.
Cheers.
And hopefully next time it won't be 2 years.
Thanks.
I bumped into Mark Wallace from Mantic Games. Hello, Mark.
Hi there. All right.
Hi. How's the expo going for you?
Fantastic. We're mobbed, as you can see. We've now got 10, 12 people looking at Dungeon Saga.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, so obviously Mantic have been just a little bit busy, haven't they?
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, is Dungeon Saga the next Kickstarter that's due to hit retail?
It's not. The next Kickstarter is Kings of War.
Right.
It will be going out in July to retailers. But Kickstarter for Dungeon Saga will be August delivery, September to trade.
Right, okay. Just going to explain a little bit what we're looking at. So as far as Dungeon Saga is concerned, all plastic miniatures?
Everything you see on the board right now is actual production miniature.
Oh wow, okay.
So, for example, these miniatures you see are the first samples from China. That's not a studio miniature, that is the actual.
That is actually a production miniature. This is a large ogre?
It's troll.
Troll.
Yep.
Sorry, troll. Okay, it is stunningly good.
Comes pre-coloured for each faction, so obviously all the orcs and trolls, etc. are green, the demons and abysses are red, undead are bone, heroes are blue.
Right, okay, so basically it means because they're pre-coloured, it appeals to more than one market, doesn't it?
Correct.
So obviously from a pre-coloured point of view, it appeals to board gamers, whereas, I mean, they are stunning models, so as far as war gamers are concerned, and oh my word.
That's the big fella.
I'm now looking at a plastic dragon, which is, that's pretty stunning. So
8 inches, 9 inches high to wingtip.
Yeah, that is stunning. That is really, really cool.
And again, you can see this is the factory model. This is the first one to come out. Nothing's been done to them. We've not clipped them. We have simply put them straight on the table.
Oh, right. So that's not even. That's kind of like basic assembly job, and that's about it.
That's it. The wings clipped in. Job done.
Wow, that is really good quality. That is stunning. That is really good.
Everybody's favourite part so far, though, hasn't been just the miniatures. This is the box that it all comes in.
Okay, so this box basically looks like some kind of elder tome that you might find in a 15th century library.
Exactly.
Oh right, so everything comes in that.
Yep.
It's about the size of an A4 document box.
Yep.
That looks
now,
cool.
Each expansion will come in a similar box but coloured. So the green skin, the World of Galahir will be in a green box.
Yeah.
The Abyssals will come in a red tinted box. The Dragon, I think, is possibly a black box. So your library will build up over the months as your expansions are launched.
Oh right, okay. So basically, what happens is you put this on your shelf, and it just looks like a library.
Yeah.
Oh,
they come with a slipcase which holds it together,
yeah.
And that looks like a conventional box. But of course, on the shelf you won't see that. You'll only see the bookends.
Oh, that is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yes, that's stunning. I like that.
Yeah. And we've designed this with retailers in mind. It comes in a set of 5 is the box quantity. You've got 1 on either end, 3 in the middle, 1 with facing you, and they simply take the inner out of the box, put it on the shelf, and that's the merchandising done.
Oh wow, okay. Now Mark, you're in charge of trade, is it?
UK trade sales.
UK trade sales. Okay, now just before we started recording, you were talking about a different approach you were going to take to trade sales as opposed to Kickstarter, because obviously Mantic's been doing an awful lot of stuff on Kickstarter, haven't it?
We have.
Yeah.
Because I talk to the traders day in, day out, hundreds of them every month, I'm very keen that we start to give something back to the retailers. So when Dungeon Saga is released in September, every box on the initial launch will have a legendary Mortibris. Mortibris is the evil wizard, the necromancer, who's the main villain. He will come with a buffed up super edition version only in the retailer launch box.
Oh right, okay.
That's the only place you'll be able to get it is by going into a store and physically getting off the store owner.
Oh, right, so that wasn't available to Kickstarter? That's
not available to Kickstarter.
Not
this is a retailer exclusive. We may go to Mantic points in 6 or 12 months' time.
Yeah.
But initially, the only place you will get them is going to be from your local game store.
Oh wow, okay. And is that something you're potentially rolling out on other games as well?
Yes. I can't talk at the moment because Ronnie's made us sign the first ever NDA.
Right.
We have got a top tier license coming out soon. There'll be a massive announcement about it. Something we're very excited about. And we've had a few meetings with Ronnie where he wants to put some specials for the retailer built in from the get-go.
Yeah.
So the game will be built with retailers in mind.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because there's an awful lot of things these days about, obviously, Mantic is somebody who's been really using Kickstarter a lot.
We have, yeah.
And whilst I suppose that there has almost been this little undercurrent going on, hasn't it? About what if you don't go into go into Kickstarters? What else is out there for a person just picking your game up from the store or picking your game up from you afterwards?
Well, to give you the figures right now, the original Dreadball came out just over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We sold 1,600 on Kickstarter,
yeah.
Which is good. We've now surpassed 12,000 English language through regular trade channels.
Really? Wow.
We have sold 12,000 to bricks and mortar stores, distributors in English language. That's excluding we've started to do translations.
So is Dreadball currently your most popular game?
It is at the moment, yes.
Yeah.
It's very strong.
Well, having said that, it's a cracking game.
It is. It's good fun.
Yeah.
And Dreadball Extreme, we're about to bring out the player's book that will allow you to use all your Dreadball teams in Extreme or vice versa.
Yeah.
In fact, you can even cherry pick a team. If you want 1 Asterion, 2 Forge Fathers, 1 Territon and a Z, then you can pick them now.
Oh, that's super. Yeah, because I obviously with the way Dreadball works, it's all been kind of very much faction based. But being able to put that whole thing together,
it's your cunning plan. If you think that'll work for you, go for it.
Oh, superb. Okay, so that's coming out for Dreadball. What else have we got coming out?
We've got Kings of War 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have a sneak peek of it in July with the main launch in August.
Yeah.
We've not changed the rules massively. We've improved them. We've streamlined them. We've clarified, I think is probably the best word, balanced the points, put more. So cannons aren't quite as powerful anymore. Cavalry's not quite as good. Archers are a bit better. You'll find that if you know the core rules, they haven't changed massively. It's just slight tweaks.
Right.
But it makes the gameplay a lot faster, more smoother. We've play tested it quite literally across thousands of players, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, good stuff. And where are you with the Dead Zone 2 Kickstarter?
Dead Zone 2 is still a ways off yet. You're probably looking at the beginning of next year. I've seen some of the sculpts and miniatures.
Yeah.
We did a little sneak peek of a landing ship, which is stunning. We're very much going down the high-tech cutting-edge technology.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, very, very much. You just have to look at the landing craft and the Forge Father tank to see where we're going.
Right, okay, and coming back a bit to the Dead Zone Kickstarter that's just finished, that's almost like a mini expansion.
It is, yeah.
Bringing the Vermin in and what have you. That's, if I remember rightly, that's still in the case of we're still looking at putting the pledge managers together for that, aren't we?
Yeah, it's still very early days for that, yeah. There's still quite a lot, though. I've been lucky, I get to see sneak peeks of a lot of the new miniatures and sculpts coming out, and it's beautiful. The stuff we've got really has raised the bar.
Is it likely that you're going to be doing more of that in future, where you're actually bringing out mini expansions for the games you've got?
Very much so. Yeah. Ronnie's got some really good ideas behind it. We'd like to take it. We like the fans to direct us to quite a large extent. Yeah. So if you like Mantic and you feedback, what we tend to do is Dreadball is where we test new races out.
Yeah.
So the races that are popular in Dreadball and Extreme are the ones that are beginning to appear in Dead Zone 2 and the Warpath universe. So for example, the Terratons have been a landslide success.
Yeah.
Everybody loves teleporting turtles, which is why some of the mercs of them are appearing in Dead Zone 2, and they will have maybe not a full faction in Warpath, but certainly a large mercenary faction.
Right. Cool. And so Warpath is the one thing we haven't talked about. So
it's early days. For us, Warpath is all about the vehicles.
Yeah.
One thing we've not done to a massive extent yet is large hard plastic kits. I don't know if you can see at the end there, we've got these giant stumpy robots.
Yeah.
And the trucks. That is our first large kits.
Oh, and obviously that's from Mars Attacks, yeah.
Mars Attacks. So we've learned from those. The stumpy robots are stunning. Retail at £25 is an insane price for the size of it. But if you can start to imagine, along the same quality as those kits, drop ships, attack gunships, large battle tanks, APCs, soft skin vehicles, that's where Warpath's going.
Oh, right, okay.
We're going to hit the tabletop with tank columns, with air support, with drop ships coming in and kicking out enforcers at high speed. Yeah. It's going to be a very high-tech feel to the game, but it's definitely going to be a mass combat game.
Right, cool. So, as ever, lots of things going on with Mantic.
Lots and lots of things, yeah.
Yeah, it does keep you busy.
Yeah, you could say that, yeah. And that's before Ronnie's announcement in the next couple of months of the big license.
Cool. Look forward to that then. Well, Mark, thanks for your time.
No, thank you very much.
And have a good expo.
You too. Cheers.
Well, I managed to catch up with Richard from Warmacre. Hello, Richard, how are you?
I'm very well indeed, thanks.
How's the expo going?
Really well, very busy at the moment. I'm on my third cup of coffee and very well indeed.
Yeah. Now, I remember Warmacre from the days of Hour of Glory. Obviously things have moved on a little bit since then. So what we're looking at currently is your current, was it 60s spy game?
Yes, it's Spy Die Trying. Definitely it's based on 1960s spy-fi. Not as bloodthirsty as sort of Jason Bourne era spies. It's back in the days when you could knock somebody out legitimately with a judo chop.
Right. Can you give us some idea of what the actual game is all about?
It's an asymmetrical skirmish board game. One player plays an evil genius and runs a base full of minions and traps, and up to 3 other players play secret agents who are infiltrating the base, trying to find vital intelligence to bring him down.
Right. Okay. And does it run over the same format? Effectively, you've got an hour.
You have 1 hour to complete your mission. It ticks down by 1 minute per turn, but also the intruders can spend time as a resource effectively, instead of just taking a chance, rolling a die, success or fail. At the beginning, you have a lot of time to kill, but towards the end, it becomes more precious.
The base game comes with cutouts, but obviously as a combined both game and miniatures company, you kind of expanded that, haven't you?
Yes, we have. There are metal miniatures available for one for every cardboard standee that we've done. My business partner Gav sculpts them all. We've got secret agents, minions of every stripe. We've just done an expansion for it as well, which is print and play. But we've done all the metals for that. It's set in a sea base, and you have scuba divers and sharks. Very important. Spy accoutrement, I think.
I was just looking at that, thinking they just look so cool. So we've actually got. And we're actually looking at. Yes, there is a shark tank. tank with real sharks in it. It's superb.
Well, the expansion's in beta testing at the moment. I have to say it's very highly weighted in favour of the evil genius. We've had a lot of players eaten by the sharks during testing, so it's only for hardcore spies, I think.
Right. Now, is this a system you're going to be expanding into other genres?
Yes, definitely. We're hoping to redo Hour of Glory. It's I don't know, about 16 years old now, and it's still reasonably popular. But I think we could benefit with the better production techniques that we now have, and some rules refinements certainly. So yes, we're working on that. Can't tell you too much, but we do have a version for younger players in the pipe, in a fantasy genre that we're looking at as well. So yeah, the Killing Time format, as we call it, I think has got quite a few iterations in it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, so as I say, Hour of Glory was a great fun game to play, and it seems that. Did I see Spar Die Trying was originally launched as a Kickstarter? Was it?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah. So, how's that been going since the Kickstarter launch? Is it has it been a successful game for you?
It's been reasonably successful in Europe. We haven't had any. We haven't really attempted to break into the US market yet. We're still looking for a distributor. So hopefully that will happen soon. Because obviously with a game of this weight, the delivery cost is quite prohibitive. So yes, it's been mostly a domestic success. But we're hoping to change that.
But obviously with the line of the miniatures as well, that kind of adds to things, doesn't it? Because obviously the miniatures can cover other games and what have you. So at least that's another string to your bow.
Absolutely.
As far as that sort of thing's concerned. And they are very, very nice. I'd say looking at some of these scuba divers and stuff, and they look fantastic. Well, Richard, thank you for spending the time to chat.
It's my pleasure.
I shall have a good expo.
Thank you very much indeed.
And catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I've managed to catch up with Rob from Prodos Miniatures. Hi, Rob.
Hello, hi.
Hi, how's the expo been?
It's been absolutely fantastic. We've had a brilliant day yesterday and today. We're halfway through though.
Yeah.
So one more day in store.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that because I think this year's the first year they've opened on Friday. And it was, so it was a good day yesterday.
Yeah, it was good fun. There were a lot of board gamers about. It was very busy. And today is obviously the day that people come and spend their money. So it's been good for us.
Yeah. Obviously, the huge thing on Prodos radar at the moment is a certain Aliens versus Predator game.
Absolutely.
And it was sat in front of the table, and has to be said, they look stunning, mate.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's been an absolute labour of love, and it's taken a long time. People are very aware of how long it's taken us, but we've gotten to a point where we can actually start saying that you can go out and pre-order your copy of AVP. Yesterday and today we've given out 50 copies of AVP to Kickstarter backers.
Wow.
We haven't managed to sell a single one because obviously Kickstarter backers took priority.
Yeah.
We were hoping we might have some available on Sunday to sell, but sadly they've all gone to Kickstarter backers, and I think that's actually the right way that it's gone, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I think some of the issues have been are quite well known, others maybe not. So it's been a project that's had a few issues, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, along the way, what people have to remember is that it's not just a Prodos Games project. It's a 20th Century Fox and Prodos Games project. And when you're dealing with a license like Alien vs Predator, which for 20th Century Fox is essentially Star Wars.
Well, yeah, quite.
It's huge. We're a tiny company. We're just a bunch of guys who really like the idea of this, and we just went as full steam ahead as we could with it. And obviously there were mistakes we made that we weren't aware that were mistakes until we'd gotten so far into the project that we've had to fix those. And we fixed as much as we can to this point, released the box set, and now we're working on obviously all the expansion sets that we can see on this table in front of us now.
Yeah, okay, so the box set comes out end of June?
Yeah, 30th of June is the street release date.
Fantastic.
Stores are obviously running their pre-orders already, so all the big UK stores like Wayland Games, Element Games, Firestorm Games, Titan Games, Common Ground Games. I mean, last week was a very good week for me as a salesman.
Can imagine.
Let's just say any geek shop in the UK is going to have this product on its shelf.
Yeah.
Any geek shop.
As I say, I mean, an official Aliens versus Predator game has been an awful long time in coming, hasn't it? I mean, there have been so many kind of pseudo ones out there, unlicensed ones. But to finally actually get a fully licensed version, as I say, I mean,
and the key to that is that because it's fully licensed, they have to be perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect. So the height, the scale, the designs, everything has to be right on key, right on target.
Yeah. I must admit, looking at it, the first impression is the figures are slightly bigger than what I was expecting.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean, these really are heroic scale. 32
they are 32 millimeter scale. So 32 millimeter. And obviously, people forget how tall aliens are meant to be and how tall predators are meant to be. They're really quite big.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So all the figures produced in plastic.
Resin,
sorry.
High quality resin. However, what we are going to be doing is phasing out the resin box sets because they're meant to be Kickstarter only.
Okay.
And those are going to move into hard plastic, just like Games Workshop or Plastic Soldier Company or Flames of War. High quality plastic there as well.
Yeah, because Plastic Soldier Company have been doing some of your stuff in the back.
Yeah, in the early days they started off doing some designing for us. We then took on board some plastics designers ourselves in our company who have finished off that job based on what Plastic Soldier Company very kindly gave us information for. And we've got a good relationship with those guys.
Yeah. So obviously you're saying here we've got a full array of what's going to be available. So obviously the box set you're getting. What's in the box set.
That's fine. So you've got the dice you need to play, the cards you need to play, and the rule book for the board game.
Okay, now as far as dice are concerned, is it just standard dice or
it's D20, nothing but D20. It's a roll under system, so low numbers are good. Okay. You also get the tunnels you need to play on, so a spaceship that you can make yourself in any pattern you want or according to missions that are preset in the rulebook. It's actually, I think it's 5 foot by 3 foot's worth of tiles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what makes the box weigh 6 kilograms.
6
kilograms, right?
Good grief.
It's massive.
I mean, logistically, from a company point of view, knowing how expensive it is to ship stuff, that must have been an absolute nightmare.
There's a reason that we ship from Poland. It's 6 kilograms. And obviously you get some figures in there, so you've got yourself 15 aliens of different types. You've got 3 Predator Hunters and you've got 5 Colonial Marines.
Right.
And in the future there'll be a whole host of expansion sets for things like the Alien Queen, the Predator Hellhounds, the Power Loader, Pred Aliens, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay, and so all this is, I suppose, just kicking at the moment, yeah?
Yeah.
And, okay, you got any thoughts on release plan, or is it...
Right. It's a little bit hard at the moment to say because obviously we've got the box set approved. It was literally final approval that said we could sell it because they'd seen the shrink-wrapped copy in their hands, hand-delivered from Poland by flight.
Right.
I picked up the guy to take it to Fox the other day. They approved it on Thursday morning.
Oh, right, okay.
Friday morning, in fact.
Yeah.
Right? So before the show opened, there was a chance we might not have been able to give it away.
Ah, right, okay.
But they approved it, and we gave it away. So that's how close it's been. So what we're now doing is going through the approval process for all those expansion sets, and I can't put a date on how long that will take.
Yeah, sure.
But I have no doubt it will be much less time, touch wood, than it is for the starter box was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I know it's been a long time in coming, Rob, but it's looking really, really cool.
I can see the smile on your face, and that is making me feel so good inside. I mean, I've not seen a single person kind of grimace at the table. Everyone is smiling at this table right now. It's fantastic. No, he's just grimaced. He just grimaced. Oh, he grimaced because he's not allowed it. Okay, that's fair enough.
Okay, yeah, we'll allow that one. Well, all the very best with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking stunning. And
if you want to pre-order your copy, come to our website at shop.prodosgames.com or go to your local retailer and demand your copy now.
You can tell this guy works in marketing, can't you?
You can tell.
Well, Rob. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much,
and
Neil.
have a good expo.
You too, mate.
Cheers. Well, I'm here with Paul and Casper from East Street Games. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. How's the expo going?
It's going great. You know, we're having a really good time. It's a really lovely feel. It's a great place to be. Yeah, having a lovely weekend.
Yeah. Now, you may remember I last spoke to Paul about Valhalla Saga, and he was on the show then, and he just teased at the time at the end. We were talking about what you got coming next, and he had to mention the zombie game. And here we have it. So can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, well, Casper's one of the authors of the game, so I think it's probably best if Casper gives a quick overview of it.
Okay, so we're talking about bullets and brains, aren't we?
Yes, we are indeed.
Okay, so what is it? What's it all about?
It is a scenario-driven skirmish game, where we've got survivors pitted against the horde of zombies. And the zombies are a full proper faction, on par with all of the survivor factions.
Oh, right.
So that's hopefully the sort of one of the defining features of Bullets and Brains.
All right. So rather than just being some sort of mindless horde, you actually get to play as zombies.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
But they are still just a mindless horde. The thing that sort of sets them apart, that makes them a playable faction, is the event system. They each have a bunch of different events that you buy before the game, and then you get to place them face down on the table. And as the humans come close to them, they're flipped over, and you get to see what happens. And they're all terrible things for the humans.
Right.
Car explosions, civilians shooting at them, all the things that make for a very bad day for military grunts.
Right. Okay. So you say it's a skirmish game. What are we looking at as far as figure count and table size?
It's a 4x4.
Yeah.
The zombies get 28 regular sort of standing zombies that are all identical, and then they get 10 crawling zombies. They're a little slower and a little harder to hit because got to take away the head, and when the head is sort of crawling around through a big patch of grass, it's kind of hard to headshot them.
Right.
So the crawlers are a little harder to hit.
Okay.
The military, they get a team of 6 models, and the civilians get a team of 8 models.
Right.
So very low model counts, but you do get a zombie version of each of the characters. So once your guy gets turned, and he will, you get to swap them out with the zombie variant, and the zombie player then controls it and tries to eat all of his erstwhile buddies.
Oh, cool. Okay, so haven't had much chance to talk about this. Is this something that is approaching release, or is it actually out?
Yeah, so we've got the starter boxes here.
Yeah.
So at the moment we've got the starter boxes. There's a starter box for the Alpha Squad, and there's which is the military faction, and we've also got the starter box for the civilians.
Yeah.
Shall I just run through what's in the starter box? So in the starter box, you get 28 plastic zombies.
Oh, right, plastic zombies. Oh, okay.
You get your metal faction for your humans. So you get 6 metal humans for the Alpha Squad, and then you get the zombie equivalents of them. So as you're saying, when they get bitten and they get turned, you swap the human for the zombie version of the model.
Yeah.
With the civilians, you actually get 8 of each rather than 6 of each, so you get a few more in there.
Yeah.
You get the stats cards for each of the characters. So each of the characters has their own stats. You tick off the wounds as they take the wounds.
Okay.
And then when you flip the card over, on the other side, you've got a nice picture of the zombie version of it.
Okay, so little bits of people might be familiar with from Valhalla with stats cards and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So say skirmish game. Is it just pure skirmish, or is it more RPG light?
It is more on the skirmish side.
Okay.
It's more focused on the mechanics and the fighting than sort of progressing your character.
Right.
The only time you have any sort of real character progression in the game is when you play as the civilians, because as opposed to the military, the civilians don't really start with anything in terms of equipment. They're very lightly armed. They have scrounged a knife or a little pistol for the cop. And when they go out and kill zombies or find crates of goodies, they get to loot them. So they roll either a d6 if they loot a zombie, or 2d6 if they loot a crate, and they can find great stuff in there like nail guns, bandages, antibiotics, and of course the everyone's favorite zombie weapon, the chainsaw.
Excellent. Okay, sorry about that, Paul.
That's okay. Just the last couple of bits. So you've also got the token sheets for the event markers, and the spawning points, and you've got sheets for the missions and the faction-specific sheets and the rule sheets as well. There's in there. So everything that you need for 2 players to play a game is in the box.
Cool. Okay, and this is just to reiterate, this is a 28mm miniature game. Now, just want to check, zombies, are they actually are they stuff you've had sculpted specifically for the game?
The metals are stuff that we've had specifically sculpted. The plastics are actually studio miniatures. Zombies.
Right, okay. No, I thought I recognised them. No, that's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so at the moment, so these are the starter sets that are currently out. What's the retail price for them?
It's £45.
Yeah? Brilliant.
And that's enough for 2 people to play the entire game. All of the rules are in there as well.
All right, so it really is a hit the ground running sort of starter set.
Absolutely.
Superb. Well, guys, thank you for your time.
Not a problem.
I know it's a bit manic today, but hopefully we'll get a chance to sit down and have a longer chat about it.
Indeed, yeah, that's lovely. Thanks ever so much.
Okay,
thanks for stopping
guys.
by.
I bumped into JakeThornton. Hello, Jake.
Hello, Neil. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Long time no speak. How you doing?
Long time no speak. Yes. Well, you know, several games later.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just trying to remember. The last time we chatted to you was. It couldn't have been Mars Attacks, could it? Was it that long ago?
Yeah, probably.
It was.
Probably.
I've abandoned you, mate. I've been ignoring you. I do apologise.
That's fine. I thought I'd said something rude about you.
So how you doing? What have you been up to?
Oh, there was that little project called Dungeon Sagas, I think.
Yeah, how did that go?
That was enormous and enormously complicated, but it's a great example of how complicated it is to make things simple.
Yeah.
Because there were so many things we wanted to put into it that it could easily become completely overwhelming. So we were trying to sort of, how can you get different classes, different races, different adventures, different objectives, different magic items, spells, types of wizards, types of monsters, different bad guys, all of this stuff. How can we put that into a game and not make it completely unmanageable? And so it's working out sort of the steps and breaking things down, and so that was the big complicated thing about that. But it went really well. I think we've got I've lost track of how many scenarios I've done, and I'm sure some of them are better balanced than others, but certainly the idea that you can play and get it was kind of a little bit old school in a way, because it's kind of trying to get back to the sort of storytelling role play kind of idea that we used to have when we were first playing D&D, when it was all new and fresh and exciting and you hadn't done it before. And it's saying it's a bit about sort of having fun as a group rather than worrying about who's won.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit, someone does win. Yeah. But there's more, there's kind of that whole thing about telling the story and trying to create those elements during a game that tell a story that you'll talk about afterwards.
Yes.
Because I always think that part of the gaming vibe, experience, hobby, is telling the story about something that happened to your mates afterwards.
Yes.
Remember when we thought we got around the flank and then he ambushed us and then, all this kind of stuff. Or we thought we got away with it and then just as we dragged the wizard out of the room, the enemies, 3 guys turned up with the archers and they shot him and we only just made it. All of that kind of dramatic stuff. And so you try and build those points in where that can happen. And you can't make it happen, but you can sort of put the structure in place that would allow it.
Yeah.
So, for example, with the different kinds of heroes you've got, they're very black and white. They're not sort of the fighter magic used to thief, cleric, paladin mixed character that can do everything.
Yeah.
They do one thing well.
Yeah.
So the fighter is good at fighting. He's very good at fighting, and he hits stuff and it falls over, and that's great. If he needs a magic door unlocked, he's completely stuck. Wizard, on the other hand, magic door's not an issue. We can do that, no problem. Ooh, dangerous fighting. Ooh, he might hit me. Oh, help. Help, come and save me. So you get that interaction immediately with
that's really back to old school, which in some ways has kind of fallen a little bit out of favour, hasn't it? Yeah.
But I think there's so much value in that, and there's so much interesting dynamics you get between the characters and between the players, because you can play one player plays the whole party of adventurers, or you can play one adventurer each.
Yeah.
So if you have an adventurer each, it's quite fun as the overlord, the necromancer, the bad guy player, because there's one person who runs the dungeon, and then the party split between however many other people you've got. So it's quite fun from the point of view of playing the overlord, watching the hero players argue amongst themselves about what the best thing to do is.
Yes.
So I find that quite entertaining. It's not really a rule as such, but it's, they're all going, oh, I want to do this, I'm going to go down that corridor, and then they come up with a plan, and then they all do something different anyway, which is endlessly entertaining. And then you kill them.
With no qualms whatsoever, because it's a board game.
Because it's a game, yes. And you're the evil overlord, so you're supposed to kill them. You're supposed to be evil.
Excellent.
So yes, it's fun.
Old-fashioned dungeon mastering.
Old-fashioned fun, yes. Old-fashioned, well, they asked for it.
Well, as I say, yes.
Told them it was dangerous.
Yes. In the days before it wasn't PC to kill a character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If they asked for it, then they got it coming,
Okay, so that's Dungeon Saga.
Sorry, I shrugged, but you can't hear that.
Not unless he's got a really rusty T-shirt. Okay, so that was Dungeon Saga.
Put sound effects in there.
And then, no, unfortunately not. No, I'm not that advanced, unfortunately, at this point in time.
BBC special effect tape for you then. Yeah.
Indeed, Radiophonic Workshop. I have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we did. It was Dreadball Extreme, wasn't it? Hang on, Dungeon Saga.
I can't remember what order it was.
Anyway, whatever order. So, anyway, we haven't spoken about Dreadball Extreme, which is now obviously coming out. And there's also the latest expansion for Dead Zone. And
busy.
And Kings of War.
I haven't been doing anything with Kings of War.
No, sorry, Kings of War.
I can't do everything.
You can't do everything. Okay, so you've been massively busy.
Yes. And I've also been doing stuff for myself, my own kind of side projects, which are things that I've kind of decided this year. This is the year I'm going to take my hobby back for myself. It's actually play games for me rather than play test. Because what happens is that when I get time to play games, nearly every time, what happened last year, almost every time I had the time to sit down and play a game, it ended up being, oh, well, while you're here, I could just, you haven't played this, have you? You haven't played this scenario, you haven't played, there's a new thing for this, so I use people as guinea pigs and I play test the next thing.
So basically, even when you're playing, you're working?
Yes.
But at that point, as you say, the hobby becomes the whole
goes away, right. So there's the difference between work and play.
Yeah.
When you're playtesting, you're not just kind of having a laugh playing the game. You're thinking about, is this balanced? Does that work? What happens if I do this? And then maybe this exploit, and what happens if I do a lot, And so you don't actually generally play very well in terms of playing to win, because you often try things that you don't know whether they need poking and experimenting with and so on. So you deliberately try something and you go, well, I know the obvious way of doing it. I've played that. I'll try the non-obvious way, the strange way, the way that think but sometimes you find ways that are actually quite dangerous or exploitative or whatever, and then you try and you can rule them out, you can get rid of them, but it's work.
Yes.
And so I've decided this year I'm going to try, and it's very difficult because I have to ring fence the time and be very strict with myself so I'm not doing work. So I've been playing a few bits and bobs that are...
So what does JakeThornton do to play, when he plays games for himself, what do you play? Or what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing. I decided I was going to be quite restrictive to try and play a few things more often. I don't get a lot of time to do this. Play a lot of board games in these sessions. We tend to play a lot of these sessions are 2-player. So I'm playing things like Lost Cities, Atlas and Zeus, Jambo, like Jambo. What else? I'm playing some Battlecry.
Yeah.
Standing on the stand here with the new Western Front game from Plastic Soldier.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to them because I've been playing a lot of Battle Cry, which is obviously a sort of ancestor of this one.
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting on with that. It's that kind of, to play fairly quick games, a lot of Euro games that allow us a bit of thinking. But, Stars Are Right's another one I quite like. And actually, amazingly, I won a game of that. I really like it, but I don't think I've ever won before. But it's one of those things where sometimes you play a game and you just don't get on with it. And you just go, well, I'm not going to play this game. It just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't suit the way my brain works. And I played one game the other day about like that, and I just I don't, sorry Sam, I'm never going to play this again. I will never win this game. I can't stand it. It just doesn't get on with me at all. But I play Stars Are Right and lose, but enjoy it.
Yes.
So it's not about winning and losing. It's something about the way in which it wants me to think. So the way in which the game wants me to think to actually play it properly. So I really like Stars Are Right. Like I said, by sheer fluke, I actually won it the other day. It was a bit of a fluke as well, but I'll take that as well. And then when I'm playing figure games, I started playing World of Twilight.
All right.
A lovely, lovely little game.
Yes.
Mike Thorpe's done an amazing job. Really, really interesting. I mean, the guy's amazing. He's done the design of the world, the design of the games, the artwork, the sculpting, and that's not his job.
Yeah,
so it's a passion project and it's beautiful, and so I've got a lot of that stuff. So I've been playing that, starting to persuade some mates to start building armies. So we're getting a little group together to do that.
Yeah.
And I've got a Warzone Resurrection.
Oh, right.
I mean, I was going to come to the tournament this thing today, but it's on for 2 days, and I've got lots of other business and people to talk to and stuff. So it was like I couldn't really afford 2 days of not talking to anybody. Apart from doing that, so that's a shame. But so Warzone, because I've got nothing to do with that professionally.
Yeah, cool.
So it's kind of safe.
Yeah. Excellent.
But I'm also writing myself a couple of games for myself.
Yeah.
I started writing one like I was buying figures that I liked, and I started thinking, why am I buying these figures? Because they don't really fit with anything I've got or anything I'm playing. And it seems, my study's already bursting at the seams with games from 30 years worth of collecting them, and there's several pallets in the attic, and it's like, I really need to be getting rid of these, not buying more. So I started thinking about what I was doing and whether I needed to stop, shock, horror crisis, buying toy soldiers, or stop buying certain kinds of toy soldiers. And I thought, well, that can't be right. Surely that's got to be wrong. So I needed to make up a new game to fit what I want. So I could excuse myself from buying some toy soldiers. So I'm going to go and buy some more today. And then what I'm thinking, these are very much old style. It's going back. Because I've been thinking about my hobby as a hobby, and about how I used to play games when I was 16, 17, whatever. How the hobby has changed since then. And it's changed a lot. And one of the things was we used to play a lot of Laserburn and Combat 3000 and stuff like that, and Traveller, and it was very much we'd play role-play games that were role-play games with a little bit of skirmishing in, because we had lots of fights.
Yeah.
And then we play skirmish games, but they'd all be skirmish games with a bit of role-playing in.
Yeah.
Because we used to do so much of that, it kind of just bled across. And nowadays, skirmish games don't have that element of storytelling and role-playing. So I wanted to kind of do a game for myself that's got that kind of element in. So I've done a game which I'm tempted to be calling Old School Skirmish, which is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you heard it here first, folks.
All right.
But you might not hear it here first, because I might have gone and put an article on Quirkworthy before you get this out in the big wide world. Race you.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, but the idea of that is it goes back to, it's looking at the miniatures, because I bought the Colony 87 ones that were on Kickstarter that I thought were great and really evocative and really nice. And then I went to Triples and I met a guy I know who's just started up Macrocosm.
I like it, yeah.
Macrocosm, again, that's old school style.
Yes.
And it's very evocative of the kinds of games we used to play. So it's like, and this is all pre-workshop. This is pre-Rogue Trader, pre-Warhammer. This all, that's how crumbly and old I am, I'm afraid. But this is all playing before that, and it's this kind of different style, very different vibe from what we have now. So I thought, House of Free Miniatures are beautiful, fine, detailed things. You get a lot of things like the Guild Ball stuff, is very popular at the moment. That's all very fine, very detailed. All of this kind of stuff is great. but doesn't suit that kind of vibe because it's all a different style from what was around then.
Yeah.
And so I sort of thought to myself, well, that style deserves a game that suits that style.
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I wanted a game where the miniatures and the rules were of the same kind of mindset.
Yeah.
So I started writing one myself.
Right. Okay.
For my own amusement, and so that's and it's so I've been deliberate. What's been interesting from a design point of view is that I've deliberately gone back to use old style mechanics.
Yeah.
Because again, the style of mechanics has changed a lot over the years. So I've gone back to deliberately using, and I'm kind of going, well, I'm not using that kind of style. I'm not using this one. I'm deliberately nailing myself to a corner to use old-fashioned stuff. And then collecting miniatures where I don't use any workshop miniatures.
Yeah.
Because I want to, go through there's hundreds of little boutique companies that are passion projects from someone in their spare time, where they make a few really cool figures. Quite often hard to dig out, but there are some gems out there, and people miss them, and I miss them. So I've spent some time digging around trying to find, so I'm building the armies out. All these, the forces are all milled out of weird and wonderful things I've collected from all the corners of the internet.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite exciting. That's kind of quite, but that's I'm not going to pay me bills with that. But it's just something that I'm doing for my own amusement. So even though that is design, it's not really design work.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, I do funny things. That's it. In my spare time, I'm designing. In my hobby time from not working, I'm designing games. I'm designing a game.
You're in college, you just can't stop, can you? It's one of those things.
I was having a meeting with someone earlier about a game they want me to write for them, and halfway through I had to stop them to write down another idea I had for a game, a different one. So I was sorry, Leo, I'm just going to write this down before I forget it. It's probably got reams of them, notebooks full of little things like that. But anyway, you wanted 5 minutes, and I'm afraid I've babbled on for hours.
One final question.
Yes.
So, here we are at UK Games Expo. What do you think?
I've been here last year, and this year seems even more busy. I mean, it's huge. It's really, really worth. If you're interested in games, you should be here.
This is it.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly a board game convention. There's lots of role-player stuff as well. If you're into role-playing, it should be good as well. I'm not really involved in that at the moment, but there's lots and lots of board games. If you're interested in board games, it's definitely the place to be.
Yeah.
It's not so much miniature stuff. There are some tournaments, but there's not a lot of miniature companies. There are a bunch of crossover people. There's a Mantic store because we've got Mantic games, which are board games with figures. We've got a PSC stand on here where they've got the new board game with figures.
Yeah.
So that kind of
crossover stuff.
The crossover stuff is here. But there's not lots of pure war games. You see Hawk every year.
Yeah.
They turn up. They're one of the sponsors. So you do get some, but you talk to the traders and you talk to the customers, and the customers really are focused mainly on board games.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff going on. It's so many upbeat, positive, excited people about games that if you're interested in gaming, it's really worth coming along.
Very much so, and it's as you've been hearing as we've been recording, it's absolutely jammed, isn't it?
It's heaving. It's Saturday. It's on for 3 days.
Yeah.
And this is the ridiculous day. I was here yesterday, and there were half this many people.
Yeah.
It's still busy yesterday, but
apparently last year was the first time they tried on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, which because I didn't even realise it was open on Friday this year. But so, I mean, as I say, it'll probably be a bit quieter. But today's quite manic.
Today's manic, and it probably won't be that much less busy tomorrow. But they're thinking of. I think they're expecting something like 8,000 people this year.
Yeah,
which is
they were saying I was chatting to a guy being by, and they were saying that they were close to 10,000 pre-booked tickets.
Were they?
Something like that.
All right.
So talk about next year. The exhibition's going to be in the trade is going to be in the
NEC. Yeah. NEC, yeah.
So it's got that.
And it's going to have a much bigger hall in the expo than they've already got here, and there's not small space here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of hundred trade stands here. Many of which, I mean, this is what's exciting about it, is many of which are stands you won't see anywhere else.
No,
there's no other place you can see. I reckon probably 50% of the stuff that's here.
Because it's not just games, is it? It's everything to do with
everything
gaming.
to do with games. It's people selling. I mean, there's people selling T-shirts and cat ears for cosplay.
Yeah,
it's everything to do around because there's there's various doctors and there's a TARDIS out the front where they were. I think it was local television interviewing the Daleks this morning. So the Dalek was doing the sound check. Testing 1 2 3. Except we're here to exterminate. Testing 1 2 3. But so it's all. And there's all of that, and there's there's the gang from Scooby-Doo in costume wandering around, and there's just lots. There's all sorts of nonsense going on, and there's also lots of families and things drifting in. It's a very nice atmosphere, and it's there's a high road over there. Tricorn hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's everything from and there's lots of people who've brought. There's designers who've brought games who want. There's an area for playtesters, so they'll come with their game and they'll just get random people from the crowd to come and help playtest them. Lots of the stands have got demo games. So you could come for 3 days, spend all day, every day playing games,
and never play the same game twice,
and not play all of them.
Not play all of them, indeed, yeah.
And I'm not talking about pre-booked stuff because there's tournaments as well.
Yeah.
And there's lots of stuff. And they were showing some movies. They've got seminars. They've got some stand-up comedians. Apparently, apparently. It is huge.
How many jokes about settlers are there?
So if you look at the scenario,
I'm out of wood. I don't know. But so I think that it really is. I mean, I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in gaming. And I have absolutely no connection with these guys. I don't know any of them who run it. It's just a great show. As I've been as a trader and I've been as a punter, which I'm just coming on. I've bought my ticket. I'm on the train. I'm not. I've done bits to a lot of people I know, but I'm not doing this as anything other than a customer, and it's just great.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I wish it actually went on a bit longer because I'm not going to get around everything.
This is it, and especially there's just so much to see, isn't it? It's cool. Yeah. Well, Jake, I've taken up more than enough of your time, then, mate. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Yeah,
all the best, and we'll catch up with you really soon.
Okay, cheers. Bye bye.
Hello, Neil.
Hello, Will.
Hello.
You're looking spiffing, sir.
Absolutely, sir. Top Earl. Yes.
Yes. Will is resplendent in a British officer's uniform, circa 1916-ish.
Yes. This was actually made for Warhorse, the film.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You can still smell the horse poo.
That's superb.
Or was that me?
So, obviously, I mean, when we managed to grab a few minutes at Salute, the next thing you were talking about was coming here and Great War. Now,
and here we are. Yeah.
Now, you've done something terrible for Kickstarter.
What?
You've delivered on time.
Sorry.
Superb. I suppose it's one of those things. I suppose of. No, because obviously, right from the start, you were pretty adamant, turning around saying, no, what we want to do is we want to do this, and we want to make sure we deliver on time.
Yeah. It was a hugely key thing for me, it's a couple of sleepless nights and a bit of sweating and swearing and cracking the whip, but we got there. And even arguably a little early. We said June shipping, and we had them on the 29th of May, whatever. So guys can come and collect today who backed on Kickstarter, and the rest of it is shipping as we speak. It's coming through. So yes, we were really pleased that we were able to hit that shipping deadline, not 2 years late or whatever some of these other ones that they can be. So yes, it was quite key to us.
And so first chance we've actually got to see the final edition. It's looking very nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know I'm a proud parent and shouldn't boast, but I'm really chuffed. I'm really pleased. The whole team have done a superb job. Designers. I mean, obviously they were working with a very good raw material, and Richard's done a cracking game. And everyone knows I'm a huge Commands Colours fan. I've played everything and everyone, but we know everyone has their own favourites in the Commands Colours family.
Yeah.
But it's this I'm really chuffed with, and I think anyone who plays Commands and Colours games, especially those that played Memoir 44, I think are going to absolutely love this. We're being a bit cheeky and say, it's Memoir plus. It's Memoir with a bit of meat. And who knows? It's Memoir's World War II, The Great War is World War I, but we'll see in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, on the first thing that strikes me from a Command and Colours point of view is that it's a bigger board.
Yep.
It's a deeper board.
Yep.
Not quite as big as the Memoir breakout boards, but certainly 2 or 3 hexes deeper than normal.
I think it's two hexes deeper. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you get in the game?
You get lots of stuff. You get your 162 detailed plastic minis, which of course is where we come from. We're a plastic soldier company. We make nice detailed tabletop minis. So we wanted to do something that was aesthetically as good as it could be. So you get a lot of nice plastic minis. You get the one big difference moving away from Memoir is Memoir has its standard command card deck. Card-driven command cards. With this, you have to actually manage 3 separate resources. You've got your command cards. You have to also manage your combat cards,
right?
Which will modify your standard command cards. Yep. They also they don't just do that. They will also interrupt. We have a ruder expression that we use for cards, but they're interrupt cards for when the other player is playing his turn. So combat cards can be played in different phases of the game, either in your turn or your opponent's turn, or alongside. Yes. So there's a lot of when's that going to play? Now those combat cards, they're driven and they're paid for by HQ tokens. So your third resource is a pool of HQ tokens, that you earn through the game.
Right. Okay.
Now those HQ tokens will drive your combat cards, and combat cards are nice. They're sweet. You need your combat cards, and you need the HQ tokens to fuel those and play. So you've got to be careful how you spend and use your HQ tokens.
Right, okay.
Your HQ tokens also drive your guns, your barrages.
Right, okay.
All right. So again,
so you have off-table artillery.
You do. Right. There will be in the future. There'll be on-table field guns and stuff, but the core game is off-table. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you've got to be very careful how you use, how you manage, how you plan your barrages. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So there's basically a lot more to think about in this game. There's a lot more planning, especially if you're playing the Brits or Canadians, because we've got 4 Vimy Ridge games in the core game. So because you're on the offensive, so you've got to plan your attack very carefully. Make sure you got those HQ tokens. Make sure you got the right cards. And you've got to think 4 or 5 turns at least in front.
Wow,
it's fun. It's so much fun.
It sounds really cool. Which is, it sounds like it's as you say, when you talk about Memoir Plus, it's a very different approach to Command and Colours. Because even when you start looking at things like Ancients and Napoleonics, it seems like it's a step on again from them in several ways. Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's a fantastic game. I'm really chuffed.
Okay, and I mean, people are going to ask, because obviously you're being asked the whole way through the Kickstarter, expansions.
Mr. Borg has got pretty much the whole thing planned out, and all the rules pretty much. So we've got 4, 5, 6 years worth.
Right.
So it's a question of rolling them out in a sensible program. A question of me being able to do the plastics and to get them, get it printed, get it done. The aim is really basically to launch maybe 2 major expansions every year, based around Spiel and here Games Expo. So the next one, or the first booster expansion, will be. I'm not sure I'm going to last the weekend in terms of speech. The brain and the tongue are wearing out already. The first expansion will be Spiel this year, and it'll be tank.
Oh, superb.
Yep, Mark 4s, A7s. We'll probably kickstart it. Without giving away too much, when I say Mark IVs, A7s, whippets and other little bits and pieces, you can see how it might evolve as a Kickstarter. And that is also going to include some more advanced rules, special personnel figures. It'll be quite a big expansion actually. And then the next one after that, which we're working on as we speak, will be the first major French expansion. So pretty much all the French mid-war stuff. I want to do, and I'm going to do, because it's my baby, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a French tank expansion on its own, because I love French tanks. They're just ridiculously lovely. Schneider's, Saint-Chamond's and an FT-17. So there'll be a separate French tank expansion in the future. We've got a Warhorse. That's a sort of working title, but pretty good Warhorse. So that'll be an early war cavalry. A lot of mounted, dismounted action. 1914. Yes, there's a bit of a rollout. Richard is dead keen. He's got some great rules for observation balloons. He wants to put an air expansion in there. Armoured cars, Gallipoli, Eastern Front. It's all there.
Cool. And of course, from a wargaming point of view, miniatures wise, I'm assuming we'll probably see a World War I range appearing from Plastic Soldier Company on the relatively distant relative future.
Yes, I mean the figures and minis for the game have been made to cross over into the tabletop arena. So the minis for the core game will be available as booster packs.
Fab. Okay.
So tabletop guys like me, I will be playing the board game, but also be expanding into tabletop version. And they'll transfer very easily. That's the whole reasoning. The whole reasoning behind it. Not blocks of wood, lumps of plastic. These are proper tabletop standard figures.
Cool.
And tanks and everything else as they come through.
Okay. And how has the week been so far? Or weekend been so far?
Weekend wonderful. Exhaustingly wonderful. It's not our natural environment. We tend to be doing the tabletop war game show circuit. I last came here about 7 or 8 years ago. Pre-Plastic Soldier Company, when I had children miniatures. Right. So I was sat there selling little sort of metal minis on my stand. When it was, I can't remember what it was. It was a small hotel somewhere, and my God, has it grown and changed in 7 years? It's stunning, and it's brilliant. I think there's a not just the tabletop war games market is just golden age and growing, but the wider board games market is on the up in the UK. I think it's brilliant. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you for chatting.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Hope it goes well, mate.
Cheers.
And it's looking stunning. I'm so looking forward to playing this.
You'll love it. Trust me.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Neil. Thanks, mate.
Just bumped into Warwick Kinrade. Hello, Warwick.
Hi, Neil.
All right, I almost didn't recognise you, mate.
I'm in disguise.
In disguise. Just for the benefit of people listening to this, Warwick is currently not representing and not talking about wargaming this weekend. You're Viking in Middle England.
The Viking Society.
Viking Society.
Yeah, just here doing promotion for my reenactment hobby. My other hobby.
Your other hobby?
My 1-to-1 scale Viking battles.
Superb. How long have you been doing that then?
About 18 years.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I run the Stoke reenactment group. Viking reenactment group. Yeah, so between me and my brother, I run that, and we spend our summers fighting Viking battles around the country.
Oh, superb.
Yeah.
Superb. So something to do in your spare time when you're not...
Yeah, exactly. When we're not playing with toy soldiers, pretending to be soldiers.
Superb. Excellent stuff. Good stuff. I meant to catch up with you at Salute, and well, as with everything, it's just one of the. It's just. I do have to apologise for the Dalek in the background, who actually stood next to the TARDIS in the main foyer, which is why you're hearing all these Daleks in the background. But hey ho, it's that sort of show, people. Right, so I meant to catch up with you at Salute, and just didn't get a chance because it was one of those days, wasn't it? It was fairly
busy day.
Yeah. So Battle Group Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, Battle Blue Blitzkrieg, that's the current book. It's out on sale, doing very well.
Yeah.
Early war, Poland and France, 39 and 40. Piers was the main author on it. I did the kind of support job and editorial job on it.
Yeah.
But it was his particular thing, so let him take the lead on that. Yeah, it's a different period of the war.
Yeah.
It deserves a bit of love and attention, really.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things that a lot of people say early war is actually a darn sight more fun.
Yeah, people who know it say that, and I kind of agree, to be honest, because I think by the time you take away some of the gunpowder of the tanks, the tank battles are actually more entertaining and last longer because everything doesn't die straight away from the power of the guns. So it's that period of the war really where armour is slightly superior to gun power.
Yeah.
So the tank battles last longer, and you get a bit of that kind of manoeuvre, hit, move it. So actually, yeah, it feels a very different kind of feel to the games, and you get a bit more bang for your buck out your tanks.
So you enjoyed working on that then?
Yeah, it was an interesting, really good. I mean, I love all the projects. I just love World War II. The history of World War II generally is an ongoing fascination since I was about 10. So, yeah, all the periods of it I really like. But it wasn't something that I knew a lot about beforehand. So, yeah, to get a bit more into it and a bit more knowledge out of it, that's a good side effect of the book.
Yeah. And of course, having chatted to Will, he kind of let the cat out of the bag, say, thinking the next one's likely to be Western Desert.
Next year, Western Desert, 1941. Classic desert, really. I think early desert period. So, Italians and British, and then the arrival of the Germans. Probably going up to something like the Battles of the Gazar Line. So we don't include the Lend-Lease American tanks and stuff.
Right. Okay.
And do that as a kind of later Desert War book with the Lend-Lease stuff and the arrival of the Americans, the end in Tunisia, really.
Yeah.
So split the desert into two.
Right.
Into two. Because mainly for me, because the feel of the fighting changes. It's the nature of the warfare. You end up. The classic desert is that even kind of even fight. The Germans generally winning, and then you can do the later with the Germans on the back foot, desperately scrambling and being beaten up, and with the arrival of Americans, the First Army, and the arrival of the better tanks, basically.
Yeah.
So you don't mix the two through the
Yeah. And of course, obviously, as you're saying already, with Blitzkrieg, we're talking about actually fun tank wars because.
Yeah,
armour's better.
Yeah. I mean, the desert is, I think if anywhere is unbridled tank warfare, then probably the Northern Desert is the place to do it. That'll be some of the rules that I'm considering for it are to take away the minimum restrictions for infantry in it, so that you can just pick tank forces that can engage tank forces. So, and to me, that feels like the right theatre to do that in.
Yeah.
Rather than other theatres, where people want to play tanks. If you want to play tanks and play in the Middle Desert, then they did, literally outrun the infantry and just fight their own engagements, basically. And you can fight that kind of engagement. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other stuff for the desert that's unique to the desert as well, but the environment itself being a major factor in the whole thing. But again, an interest for me. My grandfather fought in North Africa and Tunisia, and his brother fought in Egypt and Libya as well. So, I have a kind of family connection to it. So I'll be interested to read up. Well, I am doing the reading now, to be honest. But,
cool. So that's coming out. So you're aiming for that.
That'll be our salute book next year,
sure.
I think. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we're not looking at an autumn release this year.
If there's an autumn release, we're considering trying to do something a smaller book that's not quite such a sort of hefty tome.
Right.
And it might be a way that we can consider doing some of those sort of secondary theatres or smaller theatres that wouldn't really all fit into one big book. So we've talked about, say, doing Operation Market Garden as a smaller book, The Battle of the Bulge is a smaller book. It might also be in the future a way that we could deal with, say, Italy. It's not a real big popular one, but obviously, again, I've got personal interest, and ultimately I would like to have covered all those theatres. So at the moment, it's just a discussion about which of those we do. But it'd probably be a softback book, smaller format, like I say, not with all those masses of army lists in it. So, for instance, if you did Market Garden, then to be honest, there is no difference such limited difference between the British paratrooper list that's already in Overlord and the one that you would put into Marsh Garden that why would you do that twice?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you would just say, well, if you want to be the British powers, it's already done. It's in Overlord. There it is. And we might do a German Defence Force list that they could fight, scratch German forces around Arnhem or whatever. But that's the problem with doing Overlord so soon and doing so early is you've covered a lot of those bases. Those forces don't change, really, much until you get into 1945.
Yeah.
Same with the Battle of the Bulge, really. The American army at the Battle of the Bulge is pretty much the same army. Few arrival of a few armoured vehicles, etc. But I wouldn't change not enough that you'd want to publish a new 10-page army list.
Really. Cool. Right. And last thing, what do you think of the Expo?
The Expo? Oh, it's great. I've never been before. I'm really enjoying it. First time here, yeah. I've been invited a few times, but never actually made it. Yeah, it's great. I'd like to come as a punter, to be honest, and play some games rather than be doing my own little job. But yeah, what I like about it, and compared to war game shows, there's so much gaming going on. It seems to be that just about every trade stand has got sort of demo games or intro games or everything going on. So people can I've got friends who are just here for the weekend, jumping from game to game, and having a whale of a time, and I think that's nice, really good.
Cool. It's been great to catch up with you, Brian.
Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll see you.
See you soon.
Yes, I'll see you. Cheers, Ross.
Well, nice to catch up with a couple of guys we spoke to last year, Matt and Rich from Guild Ball. Hi guys.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hi, alright. Well, so last time we spoke, it was in the middle of a Kickstarter, and here we are at the Expo, and Guild Ball's here.
It is here. It's been here for 6 or 7 weeks now.
Yeah. I noticed social media's been going absolutely mad with it.
I'm glad you noticed that. It's really hard because we kind of live in a bit of a bubble, and obviously a lot of our interactions are directly with our community, and so our kind of perception of the world is everyone's talking about Guild Ball, but it's nice to kind of hear that other people are talking about it as well. So yeah that's cool.
Yeah. So obviously you were previewing a whole load of stuff. Are you pleased with the way everything's come out in the end?
It's hard to answer that without sounding incredibly big-headed, and we're not. We're desperately trying to keep our feet on the ground, but we are stoked beyond all imagination about how much people are enjoying the game, how well the models have been received, how people are feeding back to us that they're enjoying the world that we've created. So yeah, absolutely smashed, brilliant.
Yeah, because the Kickstarter ended up going really, really well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was really, that was an exhilarating sort of 30 days. Hard work, lots and lots of tears and frustrations along the way, but throughout it all, we could see we're building this awesome group of people who are backing us to deliver the game, and it was a real good experience.
Yeah. Okay, so as I say, it's been out 6 or 7 weeks. It's been getting quite a bit of chatter right across the web and everything. So it looks like reception's been really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really positive. I mean, our initial retail order for Salute when we kind of launched it, we expected that would last us 2 to 3 months for our initial launch. We had to reorder in 2 days. That's
superb!
It's a not bad problem to have, but yeah, literally we can't spin enough at the moment. People are loving it, and the amount of shops that have picked it up, they love the fact that our approach that we're not kickstarting season 2. The product is now in retail, so we're not going to be that kind of company that just keeps kickstarting the same project over and over. So this is a sustainable game, and I think it's had a real pickup with retailers and people alike.
Good, yeah, because I wanted to have a chat with you guys at Salute, and I couldn't get near you.
No. I mean, there's 2 stands at Salute. There's Forge World and us. They were actually rammed all day. It's kind of a credit to us, really, to be up there with the Forge World. So yeah, it was crazy. Salute. Like I remember when the doors opened, we just set up the stand and people were clamoring in, and we had no idea what to expect. And then I couldn't move out the stand for about 2 hours because there's a queue literally just forming right around the thing to get in. But it's not a bad problem to have, and it was really nice. So the amount of people, Kickstarter backers, new people coming into it, playing it at the club, it was just great to talk to those people and people that have supported us, and the new people coming to the game. And so it was the first kind of moment that me and Matt went, yeah, okay, we might have something here,
Well, okay, so just in case people have forgotten or have missed all the hype, what is Guild Ball actually about?
So I'm still working on the elevator pitch, weirdly, after 2 years. But it's a tabletop skirmish game. It's based on medieval football. It revolves around the machinations of mercantile guilds who sponsor professional sports teams.
Right.
And they play this version of medieval football that involves beating the living heck out of each other whilst trying to score goals.
Right.
And most importantly, it's with a round ball rather than a funny egg-shaped one.
Proper football.
It's proper football.
Proper
it's
football,
soccer.
Yeah, indeed. Right, okay. So you mentioned season 2, so let's talk about season 1 to begin with.
Sure.
So what's currently available in season 1?
So season 1, we've got 8 full guild teams. They are
8?
8.
Oh,
so
wow.
they are we kickstarted with 4, and throughout the growth of the Kickstarter campaign, we ended up at 8.
Yeah.
Such was the kind of demand for that. So we have the butchers, the fishermen, the masons, the morticians, the alchemists, the engineers, the brewers, and we have the union team. And the union are effectively our mercenary style faction.
Yeah.
They play for a number of other teams as well as just the union team. We have a rulebook. We have a whole bunch of awesome tokens and guild-specific dice and everything that you would expect and need to play the game.
Yeah.
Each team has, at the moment, 1 captain, 1 mascot, and then a choice of 6 or 7 models that can play for that team. What we're looking to do in season 2 is give you more variety of choice, so another captain, another mascot to choose between, and then maybe an extra couple of models per team. So the rosters are going to build out.
Yeah.
And then across the range, we're also going to be adding additional guilds each season. There'll be a new team that comes out. There'll be a brand new concept, brand new way of playing the game.
Cool. So when are we looking at launching season 2?
So season 2 is the book release is due in November time.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing a pre-release of it at Spiel in Germany.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's kind of when we're going to be launching the season 2 book and the new guild, which is the Hunters Guild.
Right.
So you're going to see that then. We're also going to be releasing from about the end of July time. We're going to start staggering out some of the season 2 models on a monthly basis. So you're going to see them appearing as well, and after the release, obviously, of season 2.
Right. Cool. And well, as far as Guild Ball is concerned, that I can see you're really, really busy with it. At the moment, is that everything that's taking up your time? Are you looking at doing something else, or?
That's a leading question.
It's a good question. So other things taking up our time, we still work full time. And hopefully we'll make the transition at some point in time. But no, in all honesty, Steamforged as a design entity, Rich and I have a wonderful creative process that gives us opportunity to explore lots of different spaces. So we are talking about other style of games. Guild Ball is a very small sized skirmish game. It's a very easy entry point. It's only 6 models. So we're looking at ways of us exploring like the larger skirmish size, so sort of 15 to 20 model size. How does that kind of game work? How would that feel differently? What would we have to do in terms of the core engine to make that game flow as well as Guild Ball does? And beyond then, we're at UK Games Expo, okay?
Yeah.
There is a million different awesome board games out there. I'd love to make a board game one day. There's like some, brilliant card games out there. I'd love to make one of those one day. And we talk about this all the time. And the way that we work creatively is we bubble these ideas about, and they bubble and bubble and bubble, and then one day something will happen and they'll just click into place, and we look at each other and we click, yeah, that's it. And it goes onto the slate and we start working on it. And we've got one thing that went in literally this week that we literally had the same idea independently. And I WhatsApped him and said, I've had this brilliant idea. He's like, so have I. I'm like, well, mine's better than yours. He's like, no, it's probably not. I go, well, go on then, what is it? So he texts it, WhatsApps it across to me, and I'm like, that's my idea, right? Literally, it's one word different, the exact same pitch. So that's when you get something like that, when two of us who think in harmony already think about the same thing, there's definitely something there. So we're going to be chasing that one.
Cool.
Next year.
Right. Okay, well, it's fab to see Guild Ball out.
Thank you.
It's fab to see it doing so well. Fantastic models. And as I say, we've been seeing awful lot of really good things about it.
Cool.
So congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
It's really good to see small companies doing really well.
Nice one.
So thanks for speaking.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, cheers, man.
All right.
Bye. Well, there we have it. Obviously, on a show like this, you can only catch a small flavour of what was going on the day. This has really turned into a massive event. I mean, we look back over, I suppose it's its 9th year this year. Look back to how it started. There was probably just over 1,000 people. And we look to where we were now. I mean, this year, they haven't announced the final figures yet, but there was over 10,000 tickets pre-sold for the weekend. So it's now a huge event. And as we, as I believe I mentioned during those interviews, next year all the trade is moving out of the hotel and is actually moving into Hall 1 of the NEC. So, massive event, well worth looking at. A lot of people, it's not on their radar because they think it's just primarily a board games event. And I suppose in some ways, yes, it is. But there's so much going on. Whether it's there's a whole host of RPG events going on. If you want to try an RPG, there's loads of things going on every single day. There's sessions being run every single day. There's a whole host of competitions, UK national finals in various different games. Funny enough, most of the miniatures, whether that be Flames of War, whether it be 40k, War Machine and Hordes, you've got the X-Wing national finals, loads and loads of different things going on. Well worth a look. And this is no longer primarily a board games event. It covers right across the board. And hopefully you just gained a bit of a flavour of those people who go, a lot of people we talk to, they're producing kind of hybrid games. So they're miniatures, but they're also board games. But more and more, this show is covering the whole spectrum of gaming. It's now running over 3 days. So it's very much got that feel of a US-style games convention, which is something you don't get an awful lot in this country. And of course, especially with it being held in a hotel, it means that when people on the trade halls, there's loads of organised play going on, but there's just loads of casual gaming going on as well. People arrive for the weekend, they have a room either in the hotel or maybe they're staying locally elsewhere, and they just come for the weekend and play, which is something that hasn't really happened in the UK a lot. As I say, it's getting much more like something like, I don't know, a mini Gen Con, if you like. Nowhere near the same scale yet, but it's growing massively. Really interesting event. If you haven't had a chance to go along, I think next year it really is kind of a breakthrough year for them. With them, with all the trade hall moving into the NEC, it will be really interesting to see what difference it makes. Because the one thing, as you probably heard from some of the audio, the place was bursting at the seams this year. It was really, really busy, and the trade halls and some of the gaming and stuff, you simply couldn't get near. There was just too many people in too small a space, if you like. So it really is at a point where it needs to expand. It needs to do something different. As long as they manage to keep that balance of, okay, they're getting bigger, but you're still able to go along to the show and pick up and play games, whether that be, whatever, whether it be, whatever board game, whether you want to go along and you want to give Star Wars Armada a go, for example, which is a game we reviewed, and lo and behold, they're demoing it on the day, or XCOM, or whatever. Great War, for example. Great War was launched, and you could have demo games of Great War during this weekend as well. So, lots of different things to do. As long as you can get to tables and have demos of games, and they provide the space and the support to do that, I think the show will maintain what it's trying to do, basically. But obviously, with the move over to the NEC next year, the show just gets bigger in scale. So there's going to be, hopefully, a lot more people involved, but also a lot more opportunity to get involved with what's going on. Really good event. and it looks like it really is just about to massively take off. So it will be interesting to see what happens next year on its funny enough, its 10th anniversary. So there we are, UK Games Expo. Well worth a look. I mean, one last point, and this is something I kind of flagged up in my miniature wargames column, because I know some people have been complaining about the price. A day ticket for the expo was £12. Okay, for an adult. I think it was £7 for a child between the ages of 10 and 16. And people are comparing that to, I don't know, trying to get in at a local wargame show, for example. Maybe Partisan, maybe Triples, something like that. Very much chalk and cheese, these things. You've really got to look. The only thing we have comparable in the UK Wargames calendar is something like Salute. And Salute, pre-order Salute was £10. Okay? The UK Games Expo offers a completely different experience. You want to go for the whole weekend, that's £25 for 3 days. That for me represents actually really good value, considering what's available and potentially what you can do. There's entries into seminars which are free. As I say, there's all sorts of gaming opportunities, chances to play loads of different demo games, loads of games that are still even in alpha or beta testing. Loads of opportunity to meet with game designers and chat one-to-one, and go and learn new games and see if you want, play games and see if you enjoy them. So loads of opportunities to do stuff. And it really is a different animal from your average wargame show. It's not just a shopping experience. There's so much more than that. So, whilst I understand the argument, it's £12 is £12, but let's face it, a night out at an average cinema ticket these days is anywhere between £8, £10, £12, depending on what part of the country you're in, and that gives you 3 hours entertainment, 2 hours entertainment. £12, that's all day. So, I think relatively speaking, I think it's perfectly reasonable. So, we'll wrap it up there. I hope you've really enjoyed the show. It was, busy day, but hopefully I've managed to grab hold of something you found interesting. And I shall speak to you soon. So, until next time, thank you for listening. Happy gaming, and we'll speak to you very soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Meeples and Miniatures podcast. If you want to know more about Meeples and Miniatures, there are several things you can do. First of all, you can visit the website at www.meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. If you want to contact the show at all, you can email me at neil@meeplesandminiatures.co.uk. You can follow the show on Twitter. Simply look for M&M Podcast, or click the follow us on Twitter button from the website. We also have a group on Facebook. That's the Meeples and Miniatures Podcast Fan Club. Again, follow the link from the website. And finally, if you want to help us to support the show, you can always donate to the podcast by clicking the PayPal button on the donate page, again found on the website. Once again, thank you for listening. I hope you've really enjoyed the show. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.